Theresa May calls on Jeremy Corbyn for views and ideas to help her. Theresa May will call on Jeremy Corbyn on Tuesday to help her deliver Brexit and huge change in Britain as she admits to a new reality to life in No. In an extraordinary move, the PM will mark a year in Downing Street by pleading with the opposition to contribute, not just criticize. Theresa May has called on opposition leader Jeremy Corbyn for his views on Brexit. And she will ask other parties to come forward with their own views and ideas about how to tackle the challenges facing the country. The speech was briefed as the European Parliament's Brexit negotiating team dismissed her offer on EU citizens' rights out of hand. Separately, Downing Street was braced for a wave of amendments from Labour, the Lib Dems and rebel Tories to derail the repeal bill that will this week kickstart the cutting of ties with Brussels. Crucially, Westminster sources claimed Tory whips were making it known they were keen to listen to reasoned amendments to the planned legislation. Theresa May's speech marks a seismic change in tone to her forthright plan for a Tory revolution when she launched her election campaign amid hopes of a landslide majority. In her speech, she insists her determination to stay on and change Britain is undimmed and that she wants to take big decisions in the long-term interest. Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn was urged by the PM to contribute, not just criticize. Mrs. May admits to a new reality to life in No 10. But she will admit the election result has changed her outlook. She will say, "The reality I now face as Prime Minister is rather different." In this new context, it will be even more important to make the case for our policies and our values, and to win the battle of ideas both in Parliament as well as in the country. So I say to the other parties in the House of Commons, and come forward with your own views and ideas about how we can tackle these challenges as a country. Theresa May nudges Donald Trump to face the right way in Group G20 picture. We may not agree on everything, but through debate and discussion the hallmarks of our parliamentary democracy ideas can be clarified and improved and a better way forward found. It is in that spirit that we will take this agenda forward in the months ahead. Tory sources insisted Theresa May wasn't opening the door to going soft on Brexit. They added the country faced huge issues such as funding the NHS and social care to the looming pensions crisis. Mr. Corbyn has been asked to help the Prime Minister to deliver Brexit. But the words will be seized upon by Remain supporters who claim voters are having second thoughts about leaving the EU. Chancellor Philip Hammond last Friday said it would be madness for Brexit Britain not to seek the closest possible ties with the EU once we leave. And last night, the business lobby group, the CBI, stepped up its war of words, warning the government was in danger of rushing blind into new trade deals with the likes of the US to prove Brexit will work. Theresa May and Jeremy Corbyn in furious row over public sector pay at PMQs. Chancellor Philip Hammond strongly advised that Brexit Britain seek the closest possible ties with the EU once we leave. CBI chief Paul Dressler said, "One has to recognize not every trade deal is necessarily a good and fair deal for both parties. We are going for headlines rather than facts and evidence." Labour's Andrew Gwynn said, "Theresa May has finally come clean and accepted the government has completely run out of ideas. As a result, they're having to beg for policy proposals from Labour. They're also brazenly borrowing Labour's campaign slogans. But no one will be fooled. The Tories are the party of the privileged few. This is further evidence that this government can no longer run the country. Fresh Labour row. Lefty film director Ken Loach has sparked a fresh Labour row by claiming Jeremy Corbyn critics should be driven out of the party. The man behind Daniel Blake said MPs should face mandatory reselection processes to ensure unity behind Mr. Corbyn. And he stormed, "We cannot have the disgusting attacks that went on against Jeremy in the last parliament. Let's have an extension of democracy throughout the whole party." The comments to the Durham Miners' Gala came with a bitter row over a takeover of moderate Luciana Berger's local Labour Party in Liverpool by left-wing activists. Shadow Education Secretary Angela Rayner urged the party to unite. She said, "You know, anyone that talks of deselecting any of my colleagues, quite frankly they need to think about actually who are the real enemy here." Former Shadow Energy Secretary Carolyn Flint piled pressure on Mr. Corbyn by saying he never once faced deselection when he voted against Labour Party policy under either Tony Blair or Gordon Brown.